Hey guys, I just received my Amplify mesh network system and I set it up and it's hooked up to my Comcast connection. And I was having a lot of Wi-Fi problems throughout my house, a lot of dead spots. So I decided to give it a try. Now, there are three Amplify versions. This is the base model. There is a long range version and there is a HD version. But this is the base model for $199. And I've had it installed for about 24 hours now, and so far I quite like it. This is the main router here. Um, it's got this little touchscreen on the front that monitors a few different things. Now, my phone here is connected to the router, so if I run a speed test, as you can see, the speed test is running over here. And you'll see that the router is tracking the data it's sending and the speed it's sending the data, which matches up very nicely to the speed test, as you can see. Pretty cool. Obviously, now here's the upload, and it's matching up very nicely to the results that I'm getting from speed test. Anyways, this is a touch screen here. You can check out a few different pieces of information, but the main work that you do is with the Amplify app on your phone, and the setup and everything is done through the Amplify app. So we'll check that out next. Okay, well let's check out the Amplify app. So we fire up the app, and it's detecting my system. And it's unable to locate. That's good. Let's try that again. There we go. That's better. Okay, so here's the app. It says everything is great. The system's been up for 1 day and 2 hours. I installed it yesterday evening at about 26 hours ago, so that is correct. Here is the router, and here are the two extenders. This gives you tells you the current data that's being moved through the system. No one's really using the system right now. There's 6 devices currently connected. If we click this button here, this kind of tells you about everything that's moving on your network data, and you can also run a speed test on the network, kind of like speed test. This is the guest network. You can set up a temporary guest network. You can share it with someone by texting them. Pretty cool little system. Great for setting up a temporary guest network, although I haven't really played with it yet. These are all your connected devices on the network right now, telling you how much data they're currently using. This is interesting because this is actually my Arlo camera system, and it's pulling 0.5 meg right now, so it must be recording something. That's the Arlo camera system. But these are all the devices on the network, and this over here is the tells you about your internet connection, your IP addresses, and stuff like that. I'm not going to click it because that'll reveal my IP address. Anyways, let's go back here. You can actually click on the device to get more detailed settings. Clicking on here tells you the device name, time zone, sounds and effects. And you can reset the device, change the password, stuff like that. Let's go back. This is your wireless networks, your username, your password, guest security, stuff like that. Advanced, you can choose the channel that you're operating on, stuff like that. But that's all set up automatically by the Amplify system. The internet, again, this tells me all the IP addresses, the WAN address, stuff like that. So I won't click it just because I don't want to reveal my WAN. Here is the this controls the LC. This controls all the lights on the router system. So if if it's in your bedroom and you don't want the lights to be too bright, you can reduce them. And there's also night mode, which will turn off the lights at night, which is pretty nice. But I don't have it turned on right now. DHCP server. By default, the default address is 192.168.167. And then 1 is the router. I haven't really been able to figure out where to change the router address from 192.168.167.1 to something more normal like 192.168.1.1. You might be able to do it here just by changing the subnet here in DHCP, but I haven't done it yet because I don't know that for a fact that that's how you change the router address. Port forwarding, I have some port forwardings turned on, and it's just normal port forwarding. What else we got? And these are to upgrade the firmware, stuff like that. You can also click on each of the individual route extenders, and you can learn about the extender, the connection it has. By default, the extenders run at 5 gigahertz, but you get a shorter range if it runs on 5 gigahertz. I currently have it at 2.4 gigahertz to get a longer range, but that cuts down the speed. And on the extenders, I'm seeing about 20 megs a second, which is plenty for YouTube and stuff like that. So around the house, I'm seeing 20 megabits per second when I'm on the far end of the house running on the extender, which is perfectly fine. And again, you can turn off the LED lights if it's in your bedroom, stuff like that. So that is a overview of the app. So far, I am very happy with the system. The app's great. I have connected to the router through my Windows computer by typing in the IP address, and it's very limited, the interface through the IP address. You basically have to do everything through the app. There's very little that you can actually do through the IP address on the Internet Explorer. Anyways, that's the app, and thanks for watching. Okay, so here is one of the extended devices that plugs right into the power. It's relatively large, but it's pretty well designed. You don't really notice it too much. Here are the lights, which tells you the signal strength. And a pretty cool thing is, if you accidentally bump it or knock it, it disconnects. It is magnetically mounted. And so that if you accidentally knock the antenna or bang into it, it'll disconnect and not actually damage the device. That is a really, really cool design feature. But besides that, there's nothing much else to these extenders. Everything else is done in the app, really.